Hello and welcome back. Um, I apologize, the sound quality in my videos for a bit might be off. My camera that I was using seems to be kaput. So I recorded a video and, well, it's gone, which is fine. I'm going to record it again now. So I'm using my phone, so I apologize for the sound quality. I can't get my mic to work on it for some reason, so I'll get this fixed. So in the meantime, the video quality might be a bit different, the sound quality might be a bit different, but thank you for bearing with me until I get the issue fixed. So this video, the video that I just recorded was about the chakras and a little bit more about how to go into them. So let me just dive back in, see if I can. When you're working on your energy, on the level of your energy, a person can go about it very intuitively. You can also, or you can go about it in a very regimented way. So what I mean by that is every morning you can say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes on this chakra, that chakra, or you can do it intuitively as you feel you need it in the moment. And in my experience, I've found both methods to be of great value. That both methods have a time and a place. So it's a good idea, I believe, to use the two different methods, because I've found that there's certain things that you can find only doing one method and the other. So for example, I spent most of my time over the last, we'll say a couple of years, much more intuitively working on the specific chakras when I felt I needed it. But in that case, oftentimes you find yourself underneath the issue, then you find yourself needing to do some work in order to clear what's already there. Whereas if you spend some time doing a practice, for example, on a specific meditation, then that may have an effect where it has you more prepared to deal with certain aspects that come your way. In this physical world, we don't control much of the situations we find ourselves in. The people, where we are. You might not want to be at work, for example. You might not want to be around a certain person. But if you did a bit of work in advance, then you may be at a more stable ground in order to face that person, situation. So I found there's great value for both. So when you're bringing your attention, when you're working with the chakras, you want to bring your attention there. And I've found that using your imagination to be quite powerful if you're not feeling anything. So when you bring your attention to one of the chakras, and let's say you want to work on it, you want to learn for yourself what it's like, what the energies are like there. Well, you can use your mind to visualize something which will have an effect on your body in a physical sense. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're walking outside at night and you see a snake. All of a sudden, you become afraid, and your body will release a hormonal soup, which is fear. You will feel the fear. A minute or two later, let's say you look and you realize it was only a rope. So the point of this little story is to tell you that even though it might not be real, your mind has the ability to make your body release certain hormones so that you feel a certain way, respond a certain way. And the reason I was talking about your imagination is that you can use this mechanism to your advantage. So when you bring your attention to a specific area of the body, like your chakras, I've found it to be of value to feel what it's like, a physical sensation of the chakra itself. And I found that each chakra feels slightly different physically, almost like a pressure, a vibrating type of sensation. And if you don't feel anything at all, let's say you're in the area and you don't feel the chakra, you can use you don't need to feel it, but it helps. So you can use your imagination to feel it. So to do this, a very simple way can be to imagine light. When you turn a light on, a light will radiate outwards in all directions. You can imagine there is a light in the chakra that you're working on, and that light is radiating outward. And when you keep your attention, your imagination on that long enough, eventually you'll notice that you start to actually feel something. Oftentimes, as I mentioned, it feels like a pressure, as though it's vibrating. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand your world, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Our bodies are energy, and atoms are movement. You can sense this, you can feel this. So, in meditation, you can use your imagination to help your body feel what's already there. Now, when you do this method, you're not trying to force a feeling. Let me be clear. You're not trying to make the light feel something. But instead, you go into the meditation as though you're listening to what is already there. This is very important. You're not trying to impose yourself onto the area. Instead, you just want to feel as though you're listening to what the chakra is already telling you. And when you do this, it feels like I mentioned. So you can use your imagination to bring your awareness to the feeling of it. Have the hormones related to the chakra release. But I believe it's important to do it in a way that's not forceful. The ego can slip in very easily. And if you're forceful when you're working with your energy, that can have a negative effect on the body. So you bring your attention to the certain chakras. For example, I found that when I bring my attention to the throat chakra, that my ability to articulate myself becomes a bit easier. I found that in each chakra that I bring my awareness to, there's a subtle change in my conscious awareness. And you don't need that visualization, but it helps if you want to feel it, okay? So let's say you're about to do a speech. You're going to talk to, or maybe a job interview, bringing your awareness gently to the throat chakra can have some benefit. In the same way that when you saw what you thought was a snake, your body had a fear response and you jumped out of the way. When you bring your attention to certain chakras, it's going to release certain hormones in your body, the potential of it. Potentially it can. When you're doing it correctly, it does. And this can have an advantage for you. So you can see clearly the advantage of being able to articulate yourself better in a job interview just by bringing your awareness to what it feels like inside in your neck, in the throat chakra. When I do this, I instantly feel pressure. In the forehead, instantly feel pressure. So when you're doing these meditations, the idea is to just leave your attention there and to see what comes up. You can use visualizations if you like I mentioned, that light. And this will create a soothing type of effect in that region. You can use different types of visualizations to create a specific mood or soup of emotions in your body that can be healing for you. But you need to be careful, because when you're experimenting with these different visualizations and the intensities of the pressure and so on, you can have a negative effect. It can have a very negative effect. If you stay there for too long and you're forceful, you'll notice that your mood can become very negative. So I don't think it's a good idea to ever be forceful when it comes to any of this inner work, this work that you do on the energetic level. To just allow to see what it feels like. It's as though you're listening. So you can use a visualization, which in my opinion should be something that is soft and healing. For my girlfriend, for example, I gave her the example, and this is because she's very close to her mother, I gave her the example of imagining that her mother came down in an angelic form and was to go into that area hugging her. And you can bring that visualization into your whole body. You can bring that visualization just into the specific chakra if you want. And when you do so, you'll find that it has a very soothing effect. The opposite of fear, like that snake you think you saw. Do you see? So when you're bringing your awareness to specific chakras, you want to keep your attention there, and you're going to notice that at some point you may have a physical response. You might notice you move or you're distracted. Something might draw your attention. You start doing something which draws your attention away from the chakra. Or you might find yourself lost in a story. You're thinking about it. And your thinking, again, you'll notice your thinking draws you away from your awareness of the chakra itself. So when you're doing this practice, in the same way that Buddhists, when they say to focus on your breathing, to gently return your attention back to the sensations of your breath when you find yourself distracted, you can do the same thing when you're focusing on your chakras. So let's say you're focusing on your third eye, what it feels like, resting your attention there. When you find yourself in a story and you're not in the chakra, again, just gently return back. And you're going to find this is basically the whole process when you're meditating on these chakras, that this is basically the whole thing that happens. You're there, you're able to get some depth into it. You're noticing some physical sensations, and you can feel the states of awareness changing in you. And then all of a sudden you're in a story and you lost the connection. And you notice that you're lost, and then, oh yeah, and you gently just return it back. And you'll notice that the longer you can sustain your awareness on a specific chakra, the deeper the result will be, the deeper the relaxation, the more intense you're going to feel what it is you're trying to achieve. And it's not that it's bad when you're distracting, it's just part of it. Okay, it's part of it. It's natural. Allow. Just keep returning your attention. Now, I want to be very clear and give a warning. When you're working with your chakras, I want to warn you that it's potentially dangerous. Because when you bring your awareness to certain chakras, there's going to be sometimes a hormonal release that may trigger some very intense negative emotions. And if you struggle with depression, let's say you might have some suicidal thoughts in the past, then those releases of emotion can bring those memories very, very intensely into your experience, sometimes for hours, days, maybe even weeks. And there's a risk that it can, if a person may commit suicide if it's intense enough. If you have a really strong depression and you need to be really, really careful. These things are not toys to be played with. So anytime you do any work on any of the energy centers, you need to be very, very gentle, and you need to understand that when you do so, there may be an energetic release from something that you've been holding down, and this energetic release may come in the form of intense negativity. Be aware of this so that you can plan some healing, okay? To heal yourself, to love yourself after the session, to allow yourself to naturally process what's coming out. Sometimes what will come out will be weeks and weeks of pure bliss and peace, okay? And sometimes you can get confused in thinking you found some type of permanent miracle. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then you'll find yourself coming back down. And when you do, you'll feel, oh, you'll recognize that it's going away, and you won't want it to go away. And that as well can create depressive type of feelings, because you're then clinging to this very beautiful state of this new state of bliss and so when you're working with your chakras, I just want to say, be very, very, very careful and gentle. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Allow what's there to come out, but don't overindulge. Take it baby steps, maybe a few minutes at a time. And I find it's a good practice to wait about a week, 2 weeks before going back into intense chakra meditations like this, at least until you've built a certain amount of a tolerance. Okay? So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for staying through the whole video with the sound. I hope the sound isn't too bad. Probably have to crank your volume. So wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Peace.